Hi everybody, it's Katie. Welcome to episode 3 of It's a Whoville Christmas. The first thing I want to do today is introduce you to the 10 official villagers of Whoville Island. The first we have, of course, is me and the Grinch. And then we have Wade, Cherry, Meringue, Ketchup, Hamlet, Chevra, Bunny, Bree, Nibbles, and Dom. It's been so much fun to get to know all 10 of these new villagers. I've had a couple of them before, but most of them are new, and for the most part, they all fit into a little bit of that quirky cute category. And other than Meringue and Bunny, most of them are a shorter villager type, so it's been really cute to see all of them interacting and being adorable. With the villagers all determined, it's time to take a look at the project for the day. We are going to be working on the Grinch's cave and all the areas of Mount Crumpit. So I'm walking through this space right now. You can see it's mostly just open forest. There's a little bit of a bridge here that goes across, and then we have the path that goes all the way up to the top of the mountain where the Grinch's cave goes. And this area up here, you can see I've got the house and I've tucked it down in a level, but that's not gonna work. I needed the house to go somewhere, but I didn't think it was going to work if you could see it on the top of the hill, but I have a plan for that later. If we take a look at the map, you'll see we have an enormous amount of area to cover today. Everything in white is where Mount Crumpit is going to be, and it has quite a bit of ground. In the bottom corner here, this is where the carnival is, so we don't have to worry about that, but everything else up here is part of the project list for the day. Before we get started on decorating, let me introduce you to the Grinch. I think he might be a little bit too cute for his, personality, but it works. There are 3 things that are really important. The first is going to be the cave, where the Grinch is going to live. We'll put a tunnel somewhere out here so that you can go into the tunnel and end up inside the house that we're going to hide. The second thing that I think of with the Grinch is his dog, Max. So here we have our cute little puppy dog that's going to represent Max. And then the third thing is the sleigh. He uses that sleigh to go down the mountain, get all the toys, and I think this one's too small, but the actual Santa Claus sleigh looked too big, so I decided to go with the smaller one instead. Let's go ahead and jump into the speed build and get this decorating underway. I've switched back over to the Cindy Lou character because this is the character profile with all the items, and I'm trying to figure out how to use the castle wall pieces to cover up the Grinch's house. I do have enough space down there for the Grinch to get in and out and kind of walk around the cliff to exit the house. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out how to block its view. I've worked with the castle pieces a couple of times, and I find that they come together and look kind of amazing very easily. And for the most part, this is straightforward. I just needed to figure out how to get the puzzle pieces to fit together correctly, so to speak. More than the look of a castle, I'm just going to pretend like this is an old rundown building because I don't really think it makes a lot of sense to have a castle up here. I just really need the height to cover up the house so that it's not the main thing that you see. With that in place, I start setting out getting the rest of the custom patterns done up here. I have a lot of space that needs to be covered up with one custom pattern or another so that I can start putting items down. I also planted a few more trees and started thinking about where all of the decorations were going to go. I say decorations, but everything up here by the Grinch's home is going to be a dump. We're literally going to fill it up with the most random items and as much trashy looking things as we can. I'm also including some of these big, beautiful vines. Mostly, I think they look quirky and interesting and a little bit creepy, kind of mystical and fun. And I definitely wanted it to look like a forest, but I don't want it to look like a normal forest. Everything on Whoville Island is just a little bit unique, just a little whimsical. In fact, if you ever think about Dr. Seuss, for me, whimsical is probably the best word that comes to mind. I definitely find that that's a good way to express the type of really youthful and cute style that he puts together that has a little bit of quirkiness to it. It's kind of, easy to identify and also hard to describe all at the same time. You can see here the process is pretty much the same up here. Add patterns down onto the ground and then go through. I'm putting trees and, weeds and stuff back and forth, and then as many things as I can that just feel like they're part of the dump. This whole process would have been much more difficult to do before the 2.0 update. I can tell that this theme is just perfectly placed for now in the game. Things like this car here, we have this beautiful rundown car. That looks amazing here up in this dump area. Also some of the other items like the glass bottles and just, you know, a few of the more unique things like the vines and the old decayed tree that I'm putting down in a few places definitely give this place a unique feel. Of course, I am using a lot of the really good traditional trash items. We have the tires and shoes, cans, and the trash bags that we've had in the game for a long time, but it was really fun to put them up here. I can't say that I've done a lot of decorating with the trash items before, so it was fun to have such a good use for them. I'm also using a lot of the new glowing moss items. These things are super cool. I've got a few of the more colorful variations that I'm using down in the town and part of the regular forest, but I've customized a darker version of the moss boulders for the mountain up here. I wanted to be consistent with some of the design, but at the same time have them be a little bit darker in color up here near the Grinch's cave. As you can see, I'm putting down some of the vine benches, which are a really good fit, I think, back and forth with the big giant vines that are up here, but I'm not using the vine items in other parts of the island. I really am only using these vine items up here by the Grinch. I carried forward with a lot of the same decorations as we moved down off of the main mountain area, and I discovered a really cool thing. If you put a custom pattern on the ground right next to the cliff, you can put the vine over the top, and I sort of discovered it accidentally, but it's good to know because it really pulls the design together. To contribute to the design, I decided it would probably be good to buy some turnips from Daisy May and then specifically give them enough time so that they become rotten. They're not rotten yet, but I wanted to find a few places to put them. I'm going to put a couple piles out here where you can see them outside of the Grinch's house, and then I'm going to leave some of them for the Grinch to pick up so he can put them inside the house when he takes over and we start doing the inside of the cave. I've switched over to the Grinch profile because he's going to need to do the decorations for the inside. You can see right now it's pretty bland. There's nothing to it. I have the pipe in the middle of the room because I'm using that to go in and out, but I start putting just some basic stuff in place and the room transforms so quickly. This is the new glowing moss cave wall, and I knew the very minute that I saw this particular wall that it was going to be what I used for the Grinch's home because it's exactly what I think about when I think about where the Grinch lives in the cave. The rest of the room is just filled up with a lot of really random furniture, more trash kind of items, and some of the sloppy furniture that's been customized into the grungiest gray that I could find. I'm using vines and some of the really cool hanging moss for just the roof because I thought at least a few things hanging down would help give it that cave sort of feel. Now it's the Grinch's turn to drop some of those turnips down. I just spread them around the room in a few places, nothing very particular about it. I just can't wait to see how they look when they actually turn rotten, and I think it'll be the perfect type of feel and look for the Grinch's cave. I did stop and pull a few more items over from my other profile because I wanted the room to look really cluttered, and that included a few of the really cute little gyroids. I just think some of them might give the room a little bit of quirkiness. With the cave all set, it's time to switch into the very final stage of decorating for this episode. And I have to tell you what, a lot of this is repetitive. So I'm just gonna give you an idea of what I'm doing and then I'll show you what it looks like in the end. Up here on Mount Crumpit, I'm decorating with the trees, mostly evergreen, but some of the original ones. I'm also using this giant flower, the glow moss boulder and stools. I'm using red cosmos, white hyacinth, and the ivy bush. I'm using the decayed tree, but not too many because I don't want it to look like a dead forest. I just really think it looks kind of like wintry with just a few of them scattered about. And then of course a ton of the custom patterns in between some of the regular weeds and some of the new glowing moss weeds. I've also got a few sticks in my pocket that I'll drop here and there under the trees just to add clutter and to make sure that they're out here in the forest instead of dropping in town. And I'm also using a few of the vines when I'm near the edges, just on a few ledges here and there, but not too many. All right, so that is going to be the plan. I'm going to get to it. Probably I have another couple hours more to go just of this same process over and over again across the rest of this mountain, and then I'll jump in and show you guys what it looks like in the end. That's it for episode 3. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you found something useful here and continue creating in this game. Until next time, have the best Animal Crossing day.